So I was on a Facebook group recently and I saw a realtor who was kind of distressed saying, hey, somebody just put a new roof on my client's house and apparently it has 6D nails instead of 8D nails. Now in the Florida building code, whenever we put up new roofs these days, it has to use 8D nails. They're a little bit longer, they have more uplift strength. And ultimately what winds up happening is if the client takes on the house with the 6D nails, if that's in fact what's installed, then they wind up paying like a higher insurance premium, and we don't want that. I did a video on something like this before, and really what it turned out to be was that the inspector did not look thoroughly enough to find the 8D nails. So I suspect that it's going to be the same type of situation with the home inspector in this case. Maybe they didn't look hard enough and they didn't find the 8D nails and they're actually in there. I'm not even getting paid to do this. I just offered to help. I just said, hey, can I help? Can I go out there and at least look around in the attic, give a second opinion to see if there's 8D nails there? Maybe the inspector missed it. And on the one hand, it's like, I hope I'm right. This way the client can be better off. But I also kind of hope that I'm wrong, because if another inspector is out here and they're not doing good work, it's just a bad rap for the home inspection community. And I just don't want that. I want people to respect home inspectors, and I want people to understand that we provide a valuable service. So let's go see what we find. All right, so the first thing that I see here is that we've got a scuttle hole and not a pull down ladder in the attic. Now, whenever you see a scuttle hole like this, it could be that the access is pretty tight. It could be that you can't get very far in there. That could be a problem. Maybe the home inspector that did this job last stood right here on the ladder and did the entire inspection without actually going in the attic. Okay, so sure enough, I'm standing right here on my ladder. And if you look right here, there is the date for the wind mitigation inspection that was just done. And they marked it as 6D. And if you look around, this is the attic access. This is as much space as we have to work with right here. It's basically the space above the garage, because behind me is a wall. And so there's no way to check to see what's going on behind this wall. I looked on the inside of the house. There's no other additional attic space door. So you have to look in this very small area. It's basically like a 1.5 car kind of garage kind of space. And the thing is like, you're looking for a nail in this area, and if it's not one showing, it's just not one showing. So I see a nail in that area. It does look kind of small. I assume that's a 6D nail. I'll measure it, but I'm pretty sure that's the one that they used in order to determine the 6D, because again, it's the closest one. Here it is. I'm standing on my ladder, and who wants to go walking around or crawling around this area looking for another nail? It's not the most convenient thing, but we're going to have to do our due diligence here. So as expected, right, we've got 1.5 inch of this nail showing. Now this is a 1/2 inch decking right here, or a 7/16 inch decking. It gives you a 2-inch nail, and the girth on this nail and the length on this nail tells me it's 6D, because normally if it was 8D, it'd be 2.5 inches altogether. So 2 inches of this nail would be exposed. So if the roofing company did their job right, they would have re-nailed the decking with 8D nails. Now the problem is that if they really did a good job nailing the decking and there was no nail sticking out at the side of the truss or any human error, they just got all the nails in the perfect spot, you couldn't find an additional 8D nail anywhere. But the only real way to know is to look and look and look. And that's what we're gonna do. When it's all said and done, you just need to find one 8D shiner to prove that 8D nails were used on this decking somewhere. Let's take a crawl and see what we find. I'm as far as I can kind of get, but check this out. You can see that there's some nails too, kind of sticking. And the thickness of that nail looks to me to be 8D. But really, the only real way to verify is to find the length of that nail. So this is getting pretty low. This is, I don't know, probably 20 inches of space above, from the bottom to the top. 24 inches of space maybe. But I got to get to the other side of these trusses right here. And it gets even lower and lower and lower on this side. Because these areas of the truss looks to me like it would have been the most difficult areas to nail, which is the most probability for a miss. And that's what we got to find. This roofing company was really good. I mean, they got all the nails in the trusses without missing anything. But look at these nails. Look at these nails right here. These nails are too long to be shingle nails. These nails right here look like Koopa Troopa's back. If I went like this, look at where the edge is. 2-inch edge. slightly below that 2x4. Hey, look, the tips of those nails are slightly below this 2x4. If I stick this over here all the way up against that plywood decking, look at that nail right next to it. And I'm fortunate enough that I can get back behind here, and there it is, 2-inch nails. This part of the decking was affixed all the way here, not on the trusses. The truss is here, this truss is here, this truss is here, but this cross member right here, which is not structural, it's still needed to be affixed here because there's a seam right across this area. And this is telling me that they got 8D nails here. So I got a lot of roofer friends. They kind of showed me how stuff is supposed to be done. I've got general contractor friends who have showed me how stuff is supposed to be done. And so when you've got these people and you've got a thirst for education, like, you can figure out what humans were doing to a property without even being there while the humans were doing that work. Now, I'm not trying to bash another inspector. This was the biggest pain in the butt ever. All that said, I'm going to stand on business and say that the roofing company did what they were supposed to do, and they put in 8D nails. And so if the other inspector wants to come out and update their report, I can show them and kind of tell them, hey, this is what I see. What do you think? And they can update their report. Client doesn't have to pay for that. I don't need to get charged for any of this or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that the client was taken care of and that we can all be on the same page and we can make this home inspection industry better. And now I'm back on the other side, and I'm going to leave all future inspectors a note. There are 8D nails installed on this roof. You will need to crawl through insulation to find it. Go this way. Behind here, there is a seam in the decking here. 8D. All of those nails are 8D. 8D. Measure that nail right there. 8D nails. More 8D nails. I want you to see where I'm at. Florida inspectors are not required to disturb insulation, but this is what it takes.